Okay. Hello, everybody. It's your Chapo. We're coming to you live from Absolutely Studios, and we're joined again by Tim Heidecker. Tim.
Happy to be back again.
What's going on?
On my turf.
Yes.
On my grounds.
And I would like to say, just to set things off, Happy Columbus Day.
Thank you so much.
I'm glad you made all your staff come in and work for us.
I was surprised.
Today.
I thought it'd be a ghost town here, but there's all these little hipsters here typing away.
That's because they're disrespecting Italian-American heritage.
No, they're disrespecting World Indigenous Peoples Day by coming in and working.
For those of you who don't know, in 1492, Columbus landed on Comet Ping Pong Rock in the New World.
Yes, and it's been a new world ever since then.
Maybe we could do a thing where I'm Christopher Columbus, and I've just come time travel to 2017. And what has it become of this new world that I've founded? Can you say? Is everybody so happy?
None of these people in this new continent live with their mothers.
I like the jumpsuits. That's a nice invention.
I just want to say, seriously, though, the Blue Lives Matter.
Actually, Amber, Matt, and I had lunch the other day in a local favorite Italian restaurant. That was
we were told it is not a local favorite.
Well, we couldn't really.
Yeah.
Derek couldn't vouch for it because he hadn't eaten there.
He was very scared that the food was going to be bad and that we were going to then judge him.
Well,
what was it called?
It was a classic.
Palermo's.
It was
Palermo.
classic old world cuisine.
And there was sort of like they had this whole wall of sort of like as you walk to the bathroom, they had this like two huge glass cases filled with the patches of like almost every different like police special unit from across the country. The special victims unit, the criminal intent unit.
It's like being home back in New York.
Yeah. And then there was they had a good picture by the bathroom of Ray Liotta with the owner. You know, like this
New
sort of
Colonel
celeb-
Sanders.
Yeah, we just found that out
What?
today.
The new Colonel Sanders?
Colonel Sanders is Ray fucking Liotta.
Wow.
I wanted Nashville hot chicken. They gave me a microwave bird and a bottle of Tabasco.
But no, yeah.
Why did you flush those chicken tenders, Karen? We needed those.
And then of course we were like, Karen. Is this Janice Rossi, apartment you are? You've got a Noid in your apartment building. She's ruining pizzas.
I just don't know, Paul. I mean, maybe he's a bad seed. He just comes in and he ruins pizzas.
Oh.
What I should do? Kill this Noid?
Well, you should at least avoid. You should at least avoid him.
I mean, once you've reached the Liotta barrier, it means that every actor will be Colonel Sanders at one point.
You have to. It's part of joining SAG.
Yeah.
You
You have to sign that at some point you will get a knock on the door and it'll be your Colonel Sanders come in the van.
Wasn't
And
there a
that's it.
story? Who was the first guy that did it? Was
Daryl Hammond.
Daryl
Hammond.
For the bringing them back.
Yeah, and he found out through like
Then he
Norm
got
Macdonald
canned
that
by
he was
Norm
like,
Macdonald.
yeah.
They just canned him after 2 weeks, and then they decided, well, we're just going to make that a thing.
Like a
And
rotating.
then every 2 weeks,
yeah.
there's a new fucking Colonel Sanders.
It's getting
a
us talking about it.
neoliberal-
It's
yeah.
And I'm
the
getting
last
hungry.
one before Liotta was fucking Rob Lowe, and he did one ad, and he didn't even try to do a Southern accent.
Oh
it
my
was
God.
really, it was very insulting to me.
He was just Rob Lowe.
Like, Colonel Sanders is like, I'm Colonel Sanders. And he was like, hello, this is Colonel Sanders. Fuck you, buddy.
He went the other way.
yeah.
He
Yeah.
went the other way.
I don't like that.
They should have just kept Hammond. He deserved it.
Oh, that story about him not getting
Oh
Trump.
my God, brutal.
Jesus Christ.
Brutal.
Did you read that story?
What?
It's like running into your ex that you didn't know was your ex on a date.
Wait, what happened?
There's a story
shit.
in the LA Times about him finding out he's not playing Trump and that Alec Baldwin is.
Oh, right.
And that he had like turned down all sorts of other offers. He moved back to New York. And he gets a call from that fucking prick who works for Lorne Michaels. I can't remember his name. He's like,
Yeah, but he found
he's
out
the
it's very
announcer on
very
Jimmy Fallon's
secondhand.
show. He's like the little
Oh, the
stooge
glasses guy.
Yeah, he's like the little stooge
Minion.
that does the bidding for Lorne Michaels. And he calls him, yeah, so we're going a different direction with Trump this season.
We want it to be shitty and not good.
And
No one enjoys
apparently
it.
he said he just like broke down. He was in the park. He just started sobbing. and
my
like,
God.
this is a
Well,
guy who's
after
got
the
like, a lot of
Sanders
trouble.
thing, it
And
already
he's-
happened to him once where they
Yeah.
gave him something
That's
and then
upsetting
jerked it
too
away
because
from him.
he had that autobiography where he talked about how he was a cutter and
Yeah,
stuff.
and he was like a-
I'm worried
on
for him
crack.
now.
Yeah.
I think they did the article because he was in a better place.
Oh,
with
that's
the whole
good.
Yeah,
thing.
okay,
But
good.
Fuck Lorne Michaels.
I hear
fuck him forever.
and he's not going back to Colonel Sanders because they're giving the KFC commercials to Christopher Nolan, and he's casting Daniel Craig as sort of a dark anti-hero, Colonel Sanders. They're 3 hours long, and he says things like, do people really care how many spices their chicken has? Or are we just fooling each other? And then there's a sexually repressed British man who reads a letter
I
from a
would
dead
like
woman.
to see Michael Caine as Colonel Sanders.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Eat the bloody chicken. You want the chicken. I realized
Some
that
men just want to watch the chicken fried.
I realize though that I am a Colonel Sanders accelerationist.
What did we decide yesterday? That the plural of Sanders was Sandai?
Sandai.
We've had a lot of Colonel Sanders conversations.
It's funny to think that he was a real guy. There was this real
Yeah.
Colonel
gentleman.
Sanders
He was
who
from Indiana.
dressed like that and
My
everything.
was a
favorite thing
Hoosier.
about him is that he sold a company relatively not after that long of a time after having founded it, but they kept him around as the contracted spokes guy. So he would go to KFC's randomly almost and like shake hands with people, and he didn't own the company anymore, but he was basically being hired by his former company to do publicity, but by the end of his life, when he was he lived very long and started to lose focus, he would sometimes just wander into KFCs to inspect them and like put his hands in the mashed potatoes and just like basically destroy the kitchen in a demented old man frenzy. And while all of the employees sort of humored him and tried to reduce the amount of damage, basically we've seen the Donald Trump administration before.
Well, I was going to say that's almost as bad as when Obama reached over the glass at Chipotle.
Yeah.
Remember when that happened?
Oh, yeah.
It was very late in his presidency, so too late to impeach. But I mean, that sums it all
Yeah.
To
up.
what
Arrogant.
To what purpose?
He was pointing out like what he wanted.
Oh.
Yeah.
It just showed, all it proved is that, surprise, surprise, the guy had never been in a fucking Chipotle. And that's
the
what
man
it
has
is.
Yeah.
never had a
Let
Chipotle
me
in his
be
life.
clear. Let me be clear. KFC is now KFD.
We do dog right.
Look. That's all I have to say. That's my only Obama impression. Look. Look.
We are replacing all of the non-halal meat at Chipotle with chickpeas.
I can hear it in my head. No, forget it. Move on.
Let's not get political here.
No, let's not get political. Let's move along to.
We can do better.
This is not who we are.
Let's move on to a story about the entertainment biz, about showbiz. It's not really political, but it's a little item from Hollyweird.
It's all political now.
Yeah, a little item from Hollyweird. Tim, did you see the story that it just came out this week that apparently Angelina Jolie was involved in a plot to arrest Joseph Kony by acting as sort of a honey trap for him?
No. Tell me more.
Okay, here we go. Come from Newsweek. It says here, actress.
Wait, Kony from Kony 2012?
Yeah.
No,
Okay.
a different
So I had-
Kony.
Also the founder
I had
of Coney
unloaded
Island.
that from my storage capacity of my brain. That was
yes.
currently sitting on one of my external hard drives.
Yes, that
ahead.
unruly African gentleman, Kony.
It says here, this is from Newsweek covering. It said, actress and human rights activist Angelina Jolie was involved in a bizarre and audacious plot along with ex-husband Brad Pitt to arrest Ugandan warlord Joseph Kony. According to a report published in the British newspaper The Sunday Times, Luis Moreno Ocampo, the former chief prosecutor for the International Criminal Court, asked Jolie to take part in a scheme to lure Kony out of hiding in the Central African Republic. The plot was outlined in emails shared with The Times by the French website Mediapart. Forget other celebrities. She is the one, Ocampo wrote in one email obtained by the publications. She loves to arrest Kony. She is ready. Probably Brad will also go. The plot
You know
involved...
that George Clooney was furious that he wasn't picked as the honey
Oh,
trap.
no, wait, reading on here, it says...
Oh, my God.
she is ready. The plot involved embedding Jolie and Pitt with a unit of U.S. Special Forces soldiers close to Kony's stronghold. Ocampo claimed that Jolie was keen to take part, and she suggested luring Kony to a private dinner where he would be arrested. Quote, Brad is being supportive. Let's discuss logistics. Much love, XXX, Jolie reportedly wrote to Ocampo. American troops, he told her, are eager to get Kony, and after meeting you, they will do it. However, the plan reportedly fizzled out, and Jolie did not reply to several emails from Ocampo.
Oh, no.
I gotta say that this really
hot one.
reminds me that stars are not just like us, because I think you have to be a certain type of cloistered celebrity to watch tales of a horrible Ugandan warlord committing genocide in Central Africa, and his first thought be, I could seduce him out of hiding and defeat him.
Disagree. How many, the normal thing that all normal men do, you don't know this because you're not normal, is to imagine scenarios where they foil terrorists and dictators.
Yeah,
you know,
that's
every
true.
time I enter a
Sexually.
building.
Sexually?
Yeah, it's like
I mean, that is the entire premise of the James Bond series.
Yeah, I imagine, making, like, say, Charles Taylor come so hard that he dies. And then
I like to
solving all
imagine
the
these special
problems.
forces going into the deep jungle and like clearing out a patch and putting in this little French restaurant and creating this little street.
Guy
Little
parachutes down and he's making bechamel sauce.
They get the Chianti bottle and pour
Yeah.
it in with the
a
candle.
little bed
in
and
it.
breakfast in the middle of the
Yeah,
jungle.
there's a nice violin.
This is Fire Team Alpha Bravo. Due to a targeting mishap, we initiated the breadstick drop on a hospital on the other side of the country. We have reason to believe that there are 30 civilians in possession of the breadsticks now.
Amber, you brought up Clooney, though. At the end of this piece, it says, according to the report, Jolie was not the only Hollywood star Ocampo tried to recruit to take part in his investigations. And he attempted to persuade George Clooney to get involved in a plot to fly spy satellites over Libya, and Sean Penn to take part in an investigation into the Palestinian conflict.
You know what? This
Why
is
do they
like
need to-
every movie star's dream, though. You're encouraging their narcissism with this shit.
Sure.
Yeah.
It's Tropic Thunder, pretty much, right?
My favorite part was the line that said where she says Brad is also supportive. Like Brad is being supportive. She's like, get to the point in the relationship with your partner where they're comfortable with both of you overthrowing a Ugandan warlord.
That's trust.
with seduction.
Sounds
It's
good,
a
hon.
sucker-
Let me know how it
it's-
goes.
Yeah.
Oh, so you're basically going to be doing Jamie Lee Curtis scene in True Lies for a dictator? That's cool.
I'm just, I'm comfortable enough with my marriage that I'm like open to the possibility that like maybe my wife sleeps with Joseph Kony. Like,
Yeah.
and if you're not okay with that, maybe your relationship just is over.
I gotta say though, pity the man who has a very specific fetish of being cucked by African warlords only. Like, yeah, it's the
It's a
only
tough
thing
one
that
to
can
see through.
That's the only thing that can get you off is to see your wife have sex with an African warlord.
Is he still out there roaming around?
Coney's out there.
He's got his.
Yeah, we have
little-
him booked for next week, actually.
I don't approve of the guy, but his ability to keep his eyes on the prize and keep to task, it's inspiring.
He's got longevity. He's always going to have work.
You know what what Kony says is that he uses mindfulness. That's his big thing.
Coney proves that haters can be motivators.
Yeah.
Like that guy who ended up naked and screaming somewhere in California, right?
San Diego.
Oh,
San
yeah,
Diego.
yeah.
Remember, like, they were the guy who started the whole like Kony 2012.
Oh right,
Yeah.
God,
thing.
so much
They were
has
like
happened
weird
this century.
Christians. Yeah.
It's kind of insane.
But that was exactly how you thought that was going to end. Like, as soon as I saw that commercial with that, like, ice blonde man saying, we have to stop the warlord, I'm like, this is a person who is going to end up naked and masturbating on the side of the road within the next 6 months.
In San Diego. And lo
Yeah.
and behold, we made it happen.
Yeah, the ice blonde hair is like, that is kind of like public masturbation hair.
Yeah, I mean, like, you've got, like, I think it's something to do with there's nothing blocking your skull from the radiation or something. You
Well,
need
I
the
think it
pigment.
takes,
UV rays.
it takes
Yeah.
a certain type of person to get their hair inspiration from 80s teen movie villains.
Right.
That was really the high
Right.
point of ice
Karate
blonde
Kid.
hair.
It's very
Karate
Dolph
Kid,
Lundgren.
One Crazy Summer. People forget that one.
I don't forget that one. That was a good
one, wasn't it?
the regatta.
Cusack.
Yeah, that's great.
Cusack, Bobcat
Look, there's
Goldthwait.
only
dare you
one way to
suggest I
get the
forgot?
girl.
Murray
It
brothers?
involves-
Here's a question. Maybe
Demi
people
Moore,
talk about
too.
this.
Demi Moore, yeah.
The One Crazy Summer. Does that world exist in the other movie made by the same people?
Savage Steve Holland.
No, the one with the my
skiing one?
$2. The
skiing one.
the skiing one.
Shit,
What
that
the
one was.
fuck is
I
it
liked.
called?
I preferred that one.
That's
actually,
better.
One Crazy
That's
Summer.
like, what is that called?
I actually never saw that one. I'm
Better
all
Off
about
Dead.
Better Off Dead.
Better Off Dead.
Thank you.
I'm all One Crazy
It
Summer.
feels like
That's
they
the
made
only
Better
one I've
Off
seen.
Dead. It didn't work financially. So
Yeah.
let us take another crack at this with a different story, same
We
characters.
need boats, not skis.
Yeah.
I like that it had Niedermeyer as like the super tanned villain, the rich guy who wanted to build the lobster
Yes.
restaurant.
Yes.
And
then
it had the rabid
animation
dolphin.
sequence in the. Are we
Yeah.
talking about One Crazy Summer?
Yeah,
or?
there was
Yeah,
they were
One
making
Crazy
the
Summer had
dolphin
the-
movie, and they had like a mechanical dolphin,
Right.
and it ate the bad guy at the end, and the little girl
Same
was driving
plot.
it.
There was the same plot in Summer Rental with John Candy.
Yes.
There was a regatta at the end of
Rip
that movie
Torn,
as well. Yes.
Rip Torn in that one.
Yeah.
Savage Steve Holland, make another movie.
We have to be off topic.
Yeah, this will all be cut.
I mean, back
This is
when
all,
movies-
all topic.
Yeah, back
This will
when-
all be cut.
Anyway,
were
back
good.
to African child thief Joseph Kony. No,
Joseph Cusack Kony.
here's another bit of Hollywood lore that I learned recently on my trip to LA. Tim,
We're in Hollywood
Yeah.
right now. We're in Glendale,
Yep.
but we're in the LA region. Yeah.
the Los Angeles area. Tim, have you ever been to the Playboy Mansion?
I have.
Excellent.
How
I
did
used to
that
go there every weekend, Fridays and Saturdays.
The buffet nights?
It
or,
was a terrible. It was the first year. First year I lived here. I think, maybe the second year. That show Robot Chicken, which is on
Right,
Netflix,
right. Yeah.
had a DVD release party at the mansion. So I went by myself. It was raining, so it was outside, so it was like all
Under a
tarped out. It was gross. It was not fun. It was not cool. It felt dirty.
Did you
and
see Hef?
So no. I mean, they used that as like a rental, like a party space. Like
They don't roll him out on a
No.
gurney.
No,
Have
it
him
was
wave.
it's surprising.
Queen?
I remember it because you had to drive very far. It was like from where we live, it was like a 40-minute drive, park, and then take a shuttle. And it was just
That's
like
not sexy.
For a DVD release of a cartoon.
That's
it felt
not sexy at
excessive,
all.
not sexy.
Nothing about the Playboy Mansion is sexy.
Oh, there's so.
It's just
you mentioned that
it's wall to wall carpeting.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's insane.
You mentioned that it was dirty. Like
Carpeting.
a couple years ago, there was a case that there was an outbreak of Legionnaire's disease in the Playboy Mansion.
He died.
You don't think that's sexy? That's a classic debonair disease.
He died of fucking E. coli poisoning. People have not talked enough about that. He was found to have E. coli in his system.
Really?
That contributed to his death. Yes. He lived in filth.
Yeah.
Oh my
He
god.
lived in pools of baby oil that had not been collected for a decade.
Oh, you just drank from the grotto, just lapped it up.
Well, speaking of filth, I found out yesterday that the Playboy Mansion had a zoo.
Yeah.
It had its own zoo. And,
it was a zoo, all right. Let me tell you.
and we were talking
Jimmy
about,
Khan, ladies and
we
gentlemen.
were talking about this last night with our friend Emma, who works in exotic animal rescue. So they're wondering if they're going to get some big surplus of like ex-Playboy Mansion animals. And then so you said they basically...
All those tigers have AIDS, kid. I'll tell you, you don't want to go near them.
You mentioned that they just rented it out as a space, basically. Hefner had sold it, but he had some clause that was like...
people start buying the magazine once you can get pornos on TV, on the internet.
But there was a clause that he could live there until he died. It's like now that he's died, I'm just imagining they're just like going in, lining up all those animals on the wall and just
Just like one after the
one
other.
at a time, just taking them
Drown
out.
them in the grotto. Take the ducks down there, drown them in the grotto.
Well, you got to do that, though, because what happened in Colombia after they arrested Pablo Escobar, he also had a private zoo, and it was just left to rot, and the animals got out, and African hippos made it out of Pablo Escobar's zoo into local rivers and are now reproducing and killing
That's what
people
happens.
and disrupting the
They're disrespecting the people's movement.
you friggin' disrespected my biosystem. Hey, you bringing disrespect.
You can't hit me. I'm a made hippo.
System, Maron.
The only animals I saw at the Playboy Mansion were the bunnies. Believe me.
No, but and then Joe Mandy mentioned that they had peacocks roaming the grounds, and he said peacocks make a noise that is
Oh, yeah.
very similar to a woman shrieking.
Oh,
and I was
no. It's like
that's why he
masking.
had the peacocks, right?
Oh,
Cover. Cover.
Be like often peacocks will sound like someone yelling help
Yeah.
me.
He's
So
got the
just for the
baby oil.
neighbors,
He's
just-
got the baby oil again.
And then we also bring up the show The Girls Next Door, right? When that was a big hit.
I actually
Yeah.
like that show. I'm
Yeah,
not gonna
Matt
lie.
has seen you've seen every episode, right?
A lot of episodes.
I've seen a lot too.
It's good.
The thing that was interesting to me.
Well, good. It has cultural value.
Yeah.
The thing that was interesting to me about that show is it was obviously focused on the girls, the Kendra Wilkinson, Holly, and I forget,
Madison.
Holly Madison, Who's the third one?
Brittany Marcourt.
Okay.
It was
Not
actually
Dolly Madison.
Betsy DeVos.
But like the little glimpses you would
Bridget
get of
Marquardt.
Hef on that show were incredible because he was just like in the background, just a doddering old man,
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
shuffling through his
It was
house.
like, oh, why is this physical embodiment of the concept of death hanging out with these young women?
And didn't they also? There wasn't there also a show as a brief. I didn't really. I saw maybe one of them, but there was one about Clint Eastwood's whole scene.
Yes.
and he's the same way. He's just kind of like popping in the background. It was the Metamucil.
But I mean, Hef literally
I'm gonna
wears
go direct Sully,
pajamas
too.
everywhere, and he expects it to look cool and not sad. Or
Yeah.
like he was like, no, I'm gonna make this look very like dashing and bachelorly. It's like, dude,
And he
you're in
did
your
that.
70s.
And he pulled it off by appearing on all of those shows for the young audience as the Grim Reaper in a captain's hat. That's what he looked like on that show.
That was the whole Hefner thing. It was like, if you boil it down, he was really like the same as me from like age 17 to really like 24, where it just like you wear nothing with a zipper or buttons that would be complicated. And you just fucking come all over your furniture, and you're just constantly under some type of influence. But like,
I had breakfast there.
when I was 24, it was before I moved to New York. I exhausted all my supply. My lifetime
Well,
supply had come by that time, but it was supposed to be like suave and debonair because I don't know, because he's like, I've also published Norman Mailer and I smoke a pipe, and it's like those. I mean, Norman Mailer, dog shit, not as good as like, you know, a real American author like Nicholas Sparks or the Twilight Lady. B, smoking a pipe is what like a college atheist does, but because he was old and constantly dying, there was an air of respectability.
Well, if
to
I
it.
may, in defense of Hefner, without Hefner, you don't have jazz. You don't have it. Okay? And that's
invented jazz.
jazz is America. So
Well,
take that away. What do you have?
But didn't he have all these alpha males hang out at the mansion, like John Lovitz and Andy Dick? You know, weren't they regulars there?
I think
Bill
Caleb
Cosby.
Horton had the best thing, and this
fucking
was well
Bill
before
Maher.
he died. But he's like, I've said one thing in my professional career about Hugh Hefner, and it was like from 2014 or something. It's like every time you see him, he's like, "Hello, I got everything I wanted at 14. Please kill me."
He looked
Like,
pretty miserable. I
yeah.
do wonder, though, if Bill Maher went to the mansion after Hef died and poured out some Valtrex.
Into the grotto.
Yeah.
The grotto's very antibiotic.
Did you? I'm sure you guys. I mean, a broken clock is right. What, twice a day?
Yeah.
at least.
That's how it
Did
works.
the Ross Dothot piece on Hugh Hefner?
Yeah. Oh, yeah,
He's
yeah, yeah.
fantastic, right? It was
Yeah.
very fun to read.
Yeah. No,
I
doubt
don't know, so
that,
doesn't-
doubt that sexual panic can sometimes be accurately
I liked
applied
it.
to something.
I liked it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Got to give him some props for that
Well,
one.
I mean, we can join in the fact that there are certain people that make us shudder.
Right.
I think.
Yeah, it's fine.
yeah,
Find
it's a
places
unifyingly
to find
gross
places
man.
to unify.
I mean,
think.
yeah, any political and social system taken to a certain type of extreme is nauseating and horrifying, and that's just Hefner.
Yeah.
He's like at the end of the total hedonist mindset.
Well,
you know,
we'll give-
you
we'll
have
give-
his just gristly visage.
We'll give Ross credit for that. But when Larry Flint dies, you better
Shut your
keep
fucking
his
mouth.
name out of your mouth.
Yes. I'm not talking about
That
Larry.
man is a saint.
He's a fucking political activist.
I say to
He's a
you,
free speech warrior.
anti-war too. Larry Flint is
He
anti-imperial.
never
Yes,
sold
he tells
out
the
like
truth.
Hefner did.
And I also say
He took a bullet for interracial relationships.
Yeah.
No, seriously.
and I also say this: Hugh Hefner, you sir are no Johnny Sins.
Did you have to Google that name, or you know?
Fuck
him?
off! I know all the porn names. I don't know why my expertise is doubted. Maybe it's because I'm a woman.
Did you ever see the documentary on Screw Magazine with Al Goldstein?
No.
Al Goldstein.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a character.
Yeah. Well, it's great because they would have Larry Flint on, and of course, like Hef wouldn't make an appearance.
No.
But Larry Flint would be like they would go and like they wouldn't be in the same room together, but they clearly like liked each other. And I think like Al Goldstein was like, yeah, stupid fucking redneck, and then like Larry Flint would be like, he's the only Jew who doesn't know how to make money off tits.
So moving on, I wanted to ask you, Tim, have you been following or watching any of the videos that your boy Vic has been posting about Baked Alaska, the Baked Alaska leaks?
So good.
They are extraordinary. We've been
So-
having a really fun time watching those.
Yeah, he's
And we've been
incredible.
actually like, we
It's the only celebrity we want to see.
Yes, we want to go to Sunset Boulevard and see if we can get on a
He's in
Baked Alaska
town.
Periscope.
He's
Yeah.
here, right? I mean, you
Yeah,
could
yeah.
find him easily.
Yeah.
Because
Why don't you be a
Periscope's 24 hours.
Why don't you
We
make a
haven't
cameo?
we have not. This is amazing. We've been saying we want to see him, but we haven't thought. Well, let's check his Periscope
Yeah, well,
and
do it
see where he
now.
is.
Find somebody do it
Yeah,
now.
somebody find out where he
we
is.
could leave. I'd go right now. But I mean, with all sensitivity and with all sensitivity and disrespect to, is he like a little touched or something? Like,
I don't think he's okay,
I think there might be a little.
but I think he's capable. You know,
I
he's
think
culpable.
No.
You don't
I
think so? You
I don't think
he's-
he could be executed legally. His brain is just it's not there.
I'm really not trying to be even funny.
no,
it feels like
yeah.
there might be some kind of
Yeah.
spectrum-y thing
mean,
going.
yeah.
The more I look at him,
I mean,
He doesn't. I mean, he
I
clearly.
mean, no to execution.
I don't want to bum everybody out.
but-
The only way.
Be happy to
I mean,
sit here.
But here's the
But
thing: a man
I
whose
think-
only way of interacting with other people is to be humiliated by them
Right.
has some sort of issue cognitively.
Well, certainly, but
Yeah.
we just have to make sure we're not laughing at retarded people.
yeah. I mean,
I will never
That's my
stop.
day
You
job.
will never make me.
look, if we're punching down,
That's what I'm asking.
Yeah, that's not what I am ever involved in. I never punch down.
Well, then who's the punchline here, really? Because Vic's the one that spends 9 hours watching and editing this.
I'm gonna get this guy.
Yeah.
Love you, Vic.
I mean, in I'm a psychology expert.
An
As
expert.
an expert in psychology, I know all about mental psychology, mentality, all therapy, all the stuff. It's like he seems to have like the same disorder that like really almost anyone who goes into media does, which is they want everyone to like them.
Yeah.
But it just so happens he's like, he's from like a goofy, sort of cloistered off place. He was homeschooled, and not everyone who is homeschooled grows up to be
Baked Alaska.
wonderful internet sociologists and podcasters like our friends, the Hudsons. They often aren't socialized properly, and you combine that with the desire of the new type of micro celebrity to get a bunch of people to approve of you. Like, you end up doing 15 hours of video a day where you're arguing whether it's legal or not to film a guy in an elbow costume who's telling you to fuck off.
Yeah, but it's more than that. He's dumber. He's genuinely dumb. Like to adequately describe it, we need those like 19th century race science psychology characters. Like he's not an imbecile, but more in the moron
Right.
category.
That's right. There are those the grades. We'll have to test him.
Acute hysteria case.
In one of the videos that Vic posted, he finds some woman and then tries to walk her home, and he's like hitting on her while showing her the comments that his fans are making, which are all awful. And
Yeah,
he's
like
"Oh,
I'm sorry. No, if he is of low IQ, he's still of maceable IQ.
Oh yeah, no question.
and
Yeah.
and
Sorry.
Just because you
And he's like, "Take it
just
easy,
because we
guys."
don't want the state to
It's fine.
execute him doesn't mean we cannot execute him verbally on the podcast.
no, but like
Making
put on my
someone
PJW
read the
hat.
comments
Imagine my
on
surprise.
that's sexual assault.
yeah, and no, and like the comments, like one of the comments, he's like, "Oh, that's nice." One of your fans says, "Fuck her in all three holes," and without missing a beat, Bake goes, "Don't know what the third one is."
What a fucking idiot. Who doesn't know about the belly button?
The one that makes me think he's profoundly stupid is the Auschwitz one.
Oh,
Yeah,
we're
he-
standing in front of the gate or something.
Yeah, it's short if you want to play it.
Well, what
I
the
have an
hell?
internet problem.
You are?
No.
Well,
he's-
we could IT that for you.
He's at the Grove. Is that
Yeah.
it? And there's this like wrought iron I don't know, entryway. It's all like decorative stuff, and I don't know. It just says the Grove or something. And he points at it and says, "It's like that's like Auschwitz." Yeah, that's like Auschwitz. This goes on for 30 seconds, and he
Right,
just
right.
says that and laughs at his own mundane remark.
Who pays for the bodyguard?
I think he's
I assume he
I think he
does.
volunteers. I think it's a volunteer.
Yeah, the guy seems to be he worships.
The best is
baked.
when Vic puts "sir." He because the guy calls the bodyguard calls him baked "sir."
Yeah.
Sir, we better
Yeah.
watch out there, sir. You got something?
Yeah. He might just be that much in love with baked, which is sad to think of, but everybody has their fans. I mean, we do. How did that happen?
That's right, sir.
I've gotten 7 fans killed protecting me.
Another good evidence of Baked's specialness
Baked.
is he said on Twitter, I can't remember the exact exchange, but he said something. He was complaining that some thing wasn't taught in history classes.
Oh no, he said like that nobody they don't teach you that the Democrats or the KKK
Yeah, right,
and like
that's it.
Isn't that
and somebody
isn't that a Dinesh thing or is that
Yeah.
baked?
And he said, but then somebody responded to him. They said, well, I went to school and public school. They talked about it. And he said, well, I went to homeschool and it was never taught.
Bob Jones University has failed
Cell
me.
phone.
It's like, who are you complaining about again? Your mom, I guess?
That's
My
Literally
mom is a
your mom.
lib idiot.
that's like if I was yelling at Wikipedia for not teaching me.
I just love the
something.
idea of him in their classroom in their garage, and his mom's doing a lesson, and she's like, "You're a Soros plant. How much is he paying you to brainwash me?
No, that is,
I'm hungry."
that is Dinesh's new book, which
Right,
is that,
yeah, the Nazi.
Our boy.
Yeah.
No,
What
he's
is
just
so
he's
hard
just
to,
rewriting.
to understand this? It's it's like yes, there was a political party. This is what they're about. They changed dramatically,
Yeah.
and the Republicans came in and swooped in and took that.
It's also
Yeah, and
literally
you
the
have-
oldest
you have a huge
democracy
number,
party in the world.
and you have a
Like,
huge number of Democrats who, once that change happened, switched parties. And
Right.
they all switched to Republican.
And
Strom Thurmond, Jesse Helms, they all
Yeah.
switched to Republican.
Right.
Yeah, and people.
Strom Thurmond fought for the Confederacy.
and people like us and Bernie Sanders were trying to fight to return the Democratic Party to its roots. Like, it was so hard to understand here.
Like what Dinesh does is he takes like a sliver of like a real idea, which real research has been done, which is basically that like the Nazi Party based their idea for Lebensraum on like American frontier colonialism and like the westward expansion and extermination of Native Americans. And
Indigenous.
indigenous people, indigenous
Thank
peoples
you.
Day,
Native Americans is upsetting to me.
And so, but
The only
he uses,
natives here are digital natives.
yes.
so he uses that to connect it to the Democratic Party and Andrew Jackson. But as our friend Alex Nichols pointed out in his great review of this book, Dinesh keeps getting fucked up because Trump, his guy, keeps talking about how he loves Andrew Jackson.
Yeah, and there's a portrait of him in the Oval Office, right?
Yeah. And he's like, more and more people, Andrew Jackson, very tough, good. He's
Yeah.
a good guy.
Dinesh tried to square that circle by saying, I think by invoking Jackson, Trump is trying to fool the media.
Oh,
because
yeah.
he thinks that, well, all Democrats, all media people are Democrats, and all Democrats love Andrew Jackson.
Yeah, no one
And
gives-
so if Trump likes him, then that confuses their liberal
my
minds.
God.
Instead of it being you have an incoherent, idiotic politics,
Right.
all the actual Republicans love Andrew Jackson and
Right.
love Manifest Destiny,
Right.
and slavery was probably more of a good idea than a bad one if you get him a few drinks
And
in.
he called Alex a chronic bedwetter because I think Alex pointed out in his review, Dinesh's early books, he posits that slavery in America was a mostly benign institution and had a line where he said slaves were treated like property, which is to say mostly good.
Yeah.
In that, like, if you own property, you're not going to, like, fuck up your own house or
should
car.
see my iPhone 4.
Yeah, Matt literally just dropped his cell phone in the toilet. Like something that, I mean, in real world dollars, factoring for inflation, costs more than an actual slave.
I dropped it right in there.
This is
Was there
like,
was there a load in there?
That
Clean
was the
toilet?
one blessing.
That's beautiful.
Is that it was a clean bowl.
This is like you do see that Dinesh kind of missed something during his awful inhumane lockup in USP Marion Supermax where he was sending kites to Ramzi Youssef and Big Meech, but
he was a political prisoner.
he was a political prisoner, but he missed something because before he went in, like the big move for guys like that would be, to do the Dems are the real racist things, and then when he gets out, the RNC is just like. No, actually, we are the real racists, and we're like fine with that.
It does seem because he seems so radically out of step with the
Yeah.
party that it seems
Yes.
like he really did miss something in jail.
Yeah,
He's like Denzel Washington at the end of American Gangster. He's like, what's going on? I don't get it. Racism is good now?
Yeah, he gets out and he gets out and he's like, all right, we ready to take down Pajama Boy? And Trump is just up there like, you know what? Strasser, a great guy, being recognized more and more.
Klaus Barbie, folks. How stupid were we to let him get extradited?
Actually, this might be since we're talking about Trump. Tim, we did this with you last time where we had you read a Trump transcript, and
yes.
I have one here for you now, and I was hoping you could do a.
Did you get the internet?
Oh yeah, a dramatic. No, I have it. I have it
you have it
saved ready.
saved.
So I was hoping you could just do a little Trump reading for here.
Okay. This is the Huckabee interview.
Yeah.
We did a great. Oh man, I don't know if I have it today, but I'll try. Let me read it real quick to myself. Good job. We weren't really good job. I just forgot. I forgot how to read.
That's been my problem for about 5 years. That's why I haven't read any books.
We did a great job, okay? And we weren't treated fairly by the media because we really did a good job. I mean, one example, they had these beautiful, beautiful soft towels, very good towels. And I came in and there was a crowd of a lot of people and they were screaming and they were loving. Actually, I could read this like he's reading a teleprompter. We did a great job and weren't treated fairly by the media because we really did a good job. I mean, one example, they had these beautiful soft towels, very good towels. And I came in and there was a crowd of a lot of people and they were screaming and they were loving everything. I was having fun. They were having fun. They said, throw them to me. Throw them to me, Mr. President. And so I'm doing, tossing them in. So the next day they said, oh, it was so disrespectful to the people. It was just a made-up thing. And also when I walked in, the cheering was incredible. And then Huckabee says, you were a rock star. It was, it was crazy. The cheering, it was deafening. They turned down the sounds, so you just heard the announcer. It was Donald Trump. I mean, look, the media's fake.
I love it. I love it when
Soft towls, everybody. Soft
Did
towels.
you
Soft
think they
towels.
were using those like 5 paper towels to just sop up all the floodwaters, and that's
all you need.
that's how they solved it?
It's the greater picker-upper.
the thing the media doesn't understand that actually in terms of being pet, the rabbit wanted to be pet so hard, literally, that it told me it wanted to be killed by my hands. I like that he can't get out of media mindset. He's saying, yeah, we sold out the storm shelter. It was great. Standing room only.
And what was that? He dropped in for 30 minutes to the rich part of town or something and threw
and
some
yelled
paper
at them
towels.
for fucking up the budget.
Have a good time.
Yeah.
Saying have a good time, telling them that it wasn't as bad as Katrina, so that they got off lucky.
I mean, you have 3,000 people killed in Katrina. This is nothing.
Imagine your town is unrecognizable. You've lost your house. You don't know what you're going to do. You don't know the future of the place you live because it's kind of like a colony and it's surrounded by horrible debtors. But, then when you think all hope is down, you hear a meandering 25-minute story about going to an orgy with Larry Silverstein in 1982. And it's it's going to be okay.
Good hands.
Everybody's saying in Puerto Rico now, Trump is bigger than Daddy Yankee. I'm better than Despacito. It's the best thing ever.
I actually, in terms of reggaeton, I actually had the idea for it.
Yeah, that was the other thing he said in that Huckabee interview is that he invented the phrase, not fake news, he just fake.
Oh, right. That's his word now.
He said other
invented it.
people have used it in the past. I don't know, maybe, but
I never heard it.
I never heard it.
Oh my
never
God,
heard the
he
word
actually
fake before
is
the-
sundowning now. I invented that turlet.
He thinks that the word fake, those two chunks, those two sounds, the F and the K, he thinks that he created them for the first time in his head.
This is, I have to say, this is a big get for Huck.
Yeah.
On the QBN network or whatever it is. The
Man, he really
WGO.
he ate so much shit running for president. He had that cushy gig at Fox News, And now he's
Yeah.
like hucking commemorative Jesus plates.
He used to have a show on Fox News that would air on Sunday nights.
Yeah.
There was like a hybrid political talk show, and
then
he
he'd
would come
play
out and do a
bass.
monologue, and he would
Yeah.
play bass with people. And I used to watch it sometimes, just for like it was filmed in like the smallest studios in the Fox News building. You could like there's 20 people in the audience, and sometimes, and I'm sure they would film like 6 episodes in a row. They
Yeah,
would just
yeah.
like get him in off the street. And I swear to God, I'd watch it just for like the few brief moments where you got a shot of the crowd. And
Oh,
I
the
swear to
crowd
God,
was
it
the
looked like they
best.
were on Haldol or something.
Yeah.
Like,
This isn't Les Mis.
Do you hear the canine sing?
I now that he's on the Pat Robertson network.
It's not that, but it's something like
It's
that.
one of those. It's
Yeah.
one of the Jesus networks. He's going to sell his own buckets to compete with the Baker buckets, but they're going to be twice as big.
I hear that he's showing up to in cities like Portland, New York, LA, and doing just like unannounced stand-up sets.
Oh my God.
like
That would be
Huckabee's in the
fantastic.
Sit
house.
down at the Comedy Cellar, and then Huck comes out.
Oh, man.
Your night has been made.
In the Eddie Murphy Raw suit.
It's like Dave Chappelle, Chris Rock, and they're like, folks, we got a special treat for you tonight.
He's got
Huck's
his
coming out.
legal pad up there like Janine Garofalo.
yeah.
Just trying some stuff out, folks.
You know when you're dicking her down and she looks back at you and says, "Give me some more," and you're plumb out of dick. Just new blue Huckabee material.
White people beat your kids.
No, Huckabee.
White people kill your dogs.
Yeah, white people kill your dogs. It's like the only story I had lined up was that item from today about how a former Marine says that his wife's like in utero, like what is it, the sonogram.
Sac?
He said his baby saluted him. He said there was a baby. There was a
You
fetal
can't prove
salute.
that that's not. Also, he's really assuming that baby's rank.
Yeah, you're actually only supposed to salute if you're in the armed forces, so that baby is stealing valor.
Yeah.
Oh.
That baby
what if he-
fucking stole valor, that little piece of shit.
What if he was in prenatal ROTC? Like,
Wait a minute,
what
did you just call it Rhodacy?
ROTC, yeah.
Let's hope it's not 20 weeks.
No one knows.
What the
No
fuck?
one.
My parents said that. My parents.
No,
You're
Are you supposed to say
famously
ROTC?
militaristic parents.
It's ROTC.
Nobody
I know.
By the way, they've been doing this on baseball now. They're calling RBIs ribbies. That's driving me
That's a
nuts.
classic thing.
Yeah, 3 ribbies on
Oh,
the
that's
night
an
for
old
what-
one too. People
Fuck
do
you.
that. People
No,
do that.
I'm backing Felix up on this. I have heard the phrase "Rotzi Nazi" used before to
thank
refer
you.
to ROTC
All right.
kids.
No.
Not on its
That's
own, though. Not
different.
just
That's,
Rotterdam.
that's to make it rhyme
John
with Nazi.
McCain.
Yeah.
John McCain. He crashed his first plane in utero. So there is precedent for being a legacy military admit. Well, you're still on the umbilical cord.
And like,
Really?
of course, the story was set up like in contrast to the NFL players taking the knee. They're like, "Here's a fetus that's saluting the flag." What
Even a
what are
fetus
their
gets it. Even a
what are
fetus
their what
gets
are
it.
these guys' excuse?
For
You know?
me, I mean, it's only so annoying that somebody thought that. Of course they did. Their brains are filled with cotton candy. But the fact that it got turned into a news story to me is very depressing.
Yeah.
We really are. We do live amongst essentially.
These are the dumbest
We're basically
times.
feudal peasants.
Hasn't it always?
Like that's what
been
we
like
all
this?
wish we were at this point. Like the
Yeah.
idea of just like hoeing a row of potatoes in
Yeah. I
front
mean,
of
at
a
least
castle
you have
wall.
some
It's just
amount
like,
of-
oh man, I don't have to worry about rent.
At least you have some amount of like historic cultural context when someone sees like the Virgin Mary in a tortilla. Like that's like Catholicism. That's many hundreds of years. When you start seeing salutes and sonograms, it's a new kind of sickness.
Yeah.
It would be cool if once the baby's born, he's watching. Put a flag in this. How do you say the bald child cartoon?
Caillou.
He's watching child.
I don't even.
It's amazing that you guys came up
No,
with the answer to
because-
that.
I did not. I had no idea. What the
Because Charlie Brown is the adult bald cartoon.
Right.
That's the one that resonates as us as sophisticated literary people.
I'm not going to edit that.
There's nothing funnier than a good old peanut strip. And pick any of them.
That is one of
Out-
the
out of the blue.
because there are all these people who venerate peanuts.
Well,
They
there was-
buy the things.
I was
and they
listening to
take it
some
very
interview on
seriously.
some podcast with Scott Adams, Dilbert.
Oh, nice.
And he got to the root of his dementia was like I was growing up. I was a big Peanuts fan. And
Yeah, what the fuck?
who the fuck is a big Peanuts
It
fan?
sucks. They suck.
Yeah.
There are literally
No one's
stats.
really a
These
Peanuts
people are like
fan.
really they're making themselves
They're
like
a fan
it 'cause
of
it's
the comics
sophisticated.
section of the newspaper.
Yeah.
But it's not like there's ever any good content in there. You just read it compulsively because it's the part
You
of
just
paper
have a
for
weird
you.
child, somehow as a child you fetishistically imprinted onto comics.
Yeah.
And now you're a comics guy, and so
Right.
you have to look for one that has a long venerated history to be the good one.
Yeah.
There was that
Right.
So
debate
you're
with
like
Resident
reverse
Themes.
engineering this credibility to a medium that has produced mostly shit.
I mean, in Minnesota, they're like inordinately proud of Charles Schultz,
Right.
and they're like literally like on the street I used to live on. If you went down the street, there was like a fucking Snoopy statue, and I remember like reading the cartoons and like the point, like the jokes in the cartoons are like, oh yeah, no one likes to go to school on Monday. It's the same material that Garfield did much better.
I liked all of the animated ones because they were just so clearly not for children. They were just clearly like these
All those hardcore
Wes
penetration
Anderson
scenes.
movies,
I
like
gotta say,
fucking. Just
even as a
Misery
kid
and
and
Bleak.
before I even knew what this meant, I always had a weird protean knowledge that the ideal way to watch a Charlie Brown holiday special is nodding off on heroin.
I remember.
I mean, that's what eggnog
I remember
kind
thinking
of
with Garfield, like, are these? As I was getting older, I was like, are these getting the quality going down, or am I like
I getting
growing
smarter?
up, getting smarter?
Yeah, that's
And the
well,
quality
a lot
stayed
of
the
people
same,
do
I'm
that.
sure.
They say, this really went downhill.
Yeah, yeah.
It's not. I should not like this anymore because
Right.
I'm a grown up.
When do you think they're going to start slipping in like fuck and cunt and shit into this
Garfield
into
on
the
FX?
funnies?
No, they did that on U.S.
Hagar?
Acres, not Garfield.
Yeah,
They
well,
saved all
like
the-
Hagar drops the F, like, well, fuck you. Like, wait, I'm reading this, like, wait a minute. It just
Wait a minute.
said
Hagar,
fuck you,
Hagar
and
swears?
no, he does. I'm saying that's coming.
Or like the Family
It's gotta be
Circus.
coming.
Family
Yeah.
Circus, like
Maybe
when the
not
kids will
Family
be-
Circus.
Yeah,
That's their
yeah.
whole brand.
Yeah.
But like the more irreverent cartoons.
Well, it's
never
one of those
made this
things where it's not a self. It's the audience for comic strips is not reproducing. You have the old
No.
people who imprinted on it as kids and
Right.
are still fixated on it, but no new kids. Read
Kids are
comic
not
strips.
getting
Yeah.
print newspapers.
So it's still
They're
for
not-
adults.
yeah.
So you might as well throw some swears in there.
I-
and
I
spice it
never-
up. Maybe
I
some
never-
nudity. Have Mary Worth take her house coat off.
I never made this connection until now, but you know who Garfield reminded me? Like the Garfield cartoon reminded me a little bit of Bill Maher. They have like
so?
kind of the same voice because Garfield's kind of like this. He's a little bit like this. He
You
has
know
a
who
little
made
bit of
Mondays? The Republicans.
Yeah.
You know why-
Here's an N word I'm gonna say. Normal. Here's an N word that I hate. But yeah, no, I think they have a similar attitude with Garfield. It's lasagna with Bill Maher.
Both a
It's-
little smug.
It's
yeah, a
sweet
little
weed.
smug. It's weed.
You know why Bill Murray did the voice, right? Do you know that story?
Well, that's what he claims when he
yeah.
made the sequel. He can't explain
well,
that.
then he was
Because he
tied
said,
in.
"Oh, it was one of the Coens
thought it was
wrote
the Coen
That's like,
brothers
fair
doing-
enough. But you don't think they brought in the Coens to write the sequel, do you?
No,
Come
I
on,
don't.
come on, Bill.
I think he saw the paycheck and said,
Yeah,
okay,
exactly.
we'll do that again.
Let's get a
Yeah,
little
he was
real
committed
talk.
at that point. It would have confused the audience, his fans, if it hadn't been him. There would have been a tempest in a teapot
I'm just pissed
there.
it wasn't Lorenzo Music. You will always be Garfield to me.
New rule: if a veterinarian comes to your house more than 3 times, she should fuck you. Yeah.
Thanks for joining
All right.
us.
Oh, it's always a pleasure.
Tim, thanks a lot.
Thank you, Tim.
Thanks for hosting us
You're welcome.
Yeah,
on your turf.
Sweet,
Help
sweet
yourself to all the
digs.
LaCroix you want.
Saw some Doritos out there too.
Doritos are all yours.
Oh, hell yeah.
Oh yes.